Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tucker, and in today's video, we're talking about Tyler Herro. And this is a conversation that I really didn't expect to have because I thought we were all on the same page with Tyler Herro. I thought we all kind of knew what he was. I thought we all knew how good he was. And I think his value is starting to really be inflated to where he's quickly becoming either the most overrated player in the league or the most overrated young player in the league, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But quickly, before we get started, if you enjoy content like this, then consider subscribing. I upload twice a day, every day, all throughout the NBA offseason, so it's a great place for consistent NBA content. You can also leave a like rating on the video as well. Helps me out a ton, lets me know that you're enjoying the video, and helps it get out to more people on YouTube as well. And you can hang out with me at various socials at the bottom of the screen, and are linked down in the description below in a link tree. But with all those things said, let's talk about Tyler Herro. Now, we're going to talk about why he's good, why he isn't, some of the overrated stuff, and what exactly I mean by overrated, okay? First, let's say some positive things about Tyler Herro. So as a rookie, especially considering he only played in college for a year, Tyler Herro was awesome. He could score, he could facilitate, he fit in well with a team that likes to move the basketball. It's not like he's a rookie that was on a bad team and was isolating all the time and was running a ton of ball screens. Like, he fit into a good team, a team that made the finals, and he earned more minutes throughout the year. He started off, not getting a ton of minutes, but he was a part of the rotation and earned more and more throughout the year, to the point where he was a 30-minute per game guy by the time the postseason rolled around. And that's a huge once for a rookie to have on a team that was as good as Miami was, especially in the playoffs. And some of the lineup changes that they made, once they got into the playoffs and post-Justice Winslow trade, were to get Tyler Herro into the lineup more, and they clearly became a better player. He's a very good player in terms of moving off the basketball. He can shoot. He's a really nice combo guard. He's not necessarily going to run the offense on a super consistent basis, but he can play make some. He can shoot in the mid-range. He can knock down shots off the ball. And those are all really valuable tools for Tyler Herro. And he's relatively fearless. He's not afraid to take big shots, made some huge shots down the stretch of multiple different playoff games for the Heat. And that is a huge attribute for him to have as well. And he's, again, he's a rookie. He still has a couple years left on a very cheap contract as just a lottery pick, and like a late lottery pick or a mid-first round pick. And those are all huge positives for Tyler Herro. And we should give him a ton of credit for his performance as a rookie, whether it be statistically in the regular season or in some of those individual moments in the postseason, including scoring 37 in the Eastern Conference Finals game. Like, all positive things for Tyler Herro. Here's my problem, though. So I think we're going more and more towards overvaluing the production of younger players because we're so excited about identifying who the next guy is, right? A player like Tyler Herro has a really good rookie season, and suddenly we're thinking, okay, this guy's like a future All-NBA caliber player. Because we've seen it with some guys. We've seen it with like Luka in his rookie season. Immediately you can see this guy's going to be an All-NBA caliber player. It's like he's probably going to win an MVP at some point in his career. And we're so excited when that happens that we want to throw that label on other younger players as well. And people are starting to do that with Tyler Herro, not to mention some of the trade stuff that we'll talk about here in a second. Here's my problem with Tyler Herro. There certainly is plenty of signs of inefficiency at times in his game, and that's going to happen with any rookie. Like, that's not necessarily an overall negative, but if you're poking holes in his game right now, there's some inefficiency, especially in some of those playoff games, and he just didn't show up in some of those playoff games. But again, he's a rookie. Stuff is going to happen, right? Defensively, he's not great. He's going to compete. He's going to try, but he needs to get much better on that end. He needs to get stronger. He needs to get a little bit quicker. Even though he's a pretty good athlete, he definitely needs to get better in those areas to help him as a defender. And so as an all-around player, he's not like outstanding. Offensively, does some good things. Defensively, still has some room to improve, right? Now, my problem with Tyler Herro comes in here with some of the value that people are placing on him in a potential trade, whether that be James Harden or otherwise, because there have been multiple reports that the Heat have made Tyler Herro like borderline untouchable in trade talks. And it's not that doesn't necessarily make sense. Someone that had as good of a rookie season as Tyler Herro just had, that has 3 more years left on a rookie contract, and a cheap rookie contract at that, on a Heat team that is trying to plan for the future. They're trying to make sure that they have cap space available for 2021 and future summers as well, because they're always going to be in play for big free agents. I 100% understand the value of not only Tyler Herro as a player, but also Tyler Herro as an asset. But I think we're getting those two things a little bit confused. It's not just that Tyler Herro is a good player. It's now everybody's throwing in the fact that he's a good asset, and that the Heat shouldn't trade him for anybody but 3 of the top 5 players in the league or something. And once the value of a player as a trade asset starts leaking into more how good they are as a player, I think that becomes an issue. Tyler Herro is not as good of a player as he is a trade asset. And I think people are starting to confuse those two things to the point where he's arguably becoming one of the most overrated players in the league and certainly one of the most overrated young players in the league. Because now we've gotten to this conversation where there are Heat fans and there are just people in general saying that they would not trade Tyler Herro as the centerpiece of a James Harden trade. Like, they wouldn't trade Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, some expirings, and some picks in exchange for James Harden. And that to me is ridiculous. One, the fact that you wouldn't do it, and two, the fact that Tyler Herro is somehow now good enough to be the centerpiece of a James Harden trade makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, there's two different conversations to have here. There's Tyler Herro as the player at the centerpiece of a James Harden trade, and then there's Tyler Herro, the asset, and the other things that he would have to give up to include him in a James Harden trade, right? Now, if you're talking about everything that Heat would have to give up, it becomes a bit more of a conversation about whether you would do the trade as a whole, right? Herro, Robinson, expirings, and draft picks, right? Because you're giving up Herro, who's a good young asset, Robinson, who's going to need a new contract, but still was a key part of their team and someone that, you know, really fits with what they want to do. You're giving up draft flexibility and future trade flexibility because you're giving up these picks, and you wouldn't be in play for Giannis anymore in the summer of 2021 because you'd have James Harden's salary on the roster. All those things need to be accounted for, and maybe if you look at it, you're in Miami, you're like, you know what, James Harden's not worth that to us. We'll keep our core together. We'll make a run at Giannis or whoever in 2021, and if that doesn't work, we're cool with the guys that we have anyway that we just made the finals with. That calculus, that makes complete sense to me, right? But the fact that it's kind of filtered over to, no, I wouldn't trade Tyler Herro for James Harden is ridiculous. Tyler Herro is a very good young player, had an awesome rookie year, and it's great that Miami has him, and he's a great asset. But he's not the level of asset that you keep when James Harden is on the table. You just don't. Now, I've made videos like this in the past about players that are overrated, and I've gotten a good amount of flack for it. So let me be clear about what I mean when I say a player is overrated. I'm not saying that Tyler Herro is a bad basketball player. I've pointed out multiple times throughout this video the things that Tyler Herro does well and does correctly. Offensively, he's a good to great rookie guard. Did a lot of awesome things, especially in the playoffs. Great shot making, playmaking, things like that. Needs to improve defensively, but a lot of the stuff that he had issues with in his first season are just rookie things, and he'll get those figured out. But where people are valuing Tyler Herro, whether that be as an asset or as a player, is way above where they should be, in my opinion. They are overrating the value and how good Tyler Herro is and is going to be moving forward. And that's my issue. It's not that I think that Tyler Herro is bad. It's not that everybody else thinks that Tyler Herro is good. It's that they think that he is going to be this future All-NBA caliber guy. And I'm just not on the same page with those people. Now, maybe that's the case. And maybe 4 years from now, I'll watch this video, Tyler Herro's third team All-NBA, and people send this to me on Twitter. And that's fine. But I'm just not there with Tyler Herro. And I think that when we look at this trade stuff, like, we're valuing him on the same level as, you know, real legitimate assets. And when you're comparing what Miami could potentially offer here compared to the Nets, compared to Philly, I don't think it's close. I don't think the trade package is even remotely close. I think the Nets and Philly packages are significantly better than what Miami could offer. And the fact that there are people that are saying that no, they wouldn't even consider the trade with Tyler Herro involved really bugs me. And I want to make sure to give all the credit in the world to not only Herro, but the Heat in general, because Bam had an awesome year. Tyler Herro had an awesome year. Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, all those guys were. Goran Dragic was great in the playoffs before he got hurt. Jay Crowder had a really good season. He's now in Phoenix. All those guys were awesome. And I don't want to make it seem like, you know, it was a fluke, because it wasn't. They were really good. They really came together in the bubble, did a lot of great things. But let's not go so far as to overrate this roster that just did so many good things and suddenly start talking about someone like Tyler Herro as like one of the top 5 best trade assets in the entire league, when that's just simply not the case. So that's where I'm at with Tyler Herro. Every now and then a player gets like this to me where I feel like they are so overrated and so overinflated in their value that I have to say something, that I have to, you know, just kind of pump the brakes on that a little bit. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Tyler Herro's bad. I'm not being a Tyler Herro hater. I'm just saying we all need to relax a little bit, pump the brakes, come back to this a little bit later and really evaluate the level of player and asset that Tyler Herro is, because I think we're getting a little bit too excited about him right now. But with those things said, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you all very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.